Okay, I would like to finally, I would like to invite Mr. Shankar Ramaswamy to the podium to address the gathering.
Thank you. Good morning, Professor Saudi Banerjee, Dr. Vishwanath Hiremath, Dr. Karthik, Mr. Sunil Doshi, distinguished faculty members, guests. Thank you for this opportunity. A few years back, I was given a mandate, and the mandate was to go to the Mahakumbh, which was the grandest event held in India last month, or the last 2 months, and take a dip in the confluence of the 3 rivers. When I went there for the first time, I saw only 2 rivers. Yamuna on this side, Ganga on the other side. But I then remembered the instruction which followed the mandate. And the instruction was, take a deep dip inside the river, hold your breath, feel the energy, and elicit the insight and the foresight of your life. Take a deep dip, feel the energy, get the insight and foresight of your life. The 3rd river in the Triveni Sangamam in India, for which everybody goes there, is Saraswati. And Saraswati in Indian religion is the goddess of wisdom. And the metaphoric meaning of that dip is that knowledge is not available at a very shallow level. To get deep knowledge, to get wisdom, to get insights and foresights, you have to go deep within. And why I am mentioning this is indeed the very branding strategy that we have for the e-learning platform of Eminence Global. The educational platform for the pharma industry is built on these 4 pillars: deep knowledge, skills, insight, and foresight. In fact, even in my professional role working for a bank, and we partner with many institutes all around the world, and one of our bigger partners is MIT in the US. We share the same philosophy. Education has to give deep knowledge, skill, insight, and foresight. And I will give you 2 examples of how this is developed and this is discerned for the benefit of life-critical decisions in many industries. The first example is COVID. During the time of COVID, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, it collects data from various industries from all over the world. It has trading data for almost all the commodities in the world. And they found a very bizarre pattern in 2020 and 2021. The global demand for commodities, as was recorded in the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, was not high for steel, was not high for automobiles, was not high for semiconductor chips, rare earth materials, but for 2 items in this world. One was cooking oil and one was timber, logwood. These were the items, the commodities, which had the greatest demand in 2020 and 2021. And it left everyone in a state of shock. Why would there be demand for these commodities and not for any other things that we consume in this world? And they deduced the demand for timber was a reflection of the urgent, pressing need of global community to reconstruct their house during lockdown. Most of them, during lockdown, decided that this is the best way to spend their hard-earned money, which is to reconstruct and refurbish the houses. And therefore the demand for timber was the highest. And most of the FMCG industry had resorted to delivering food during the COVID time. So the demand for making food, demand for cooking oil was the highest. So just the insight of the demand of two commodities gave them a clue of how long COVID would last. So they saw the demand curve for cooking oil and timber, and it peaked at around 18 months, and it came down after 24 months. So those with exceptional insight could develop a foresight. COVID will likely last for 2 years, 24 months. And what happened to COVID? By 2023, most of the COVID was almost over. It was towards the declining phase. The other important insight was on corn and wheat. When February 2022, Russia attacked Ukraine, Russia and Ukraine together contributed to 40% of world wheat and corn demand. Again, they saw a trend. The demand for corn and wheat increased 18 months, and then it started declining. And they speculated that probably the war will last no more than 24 to 30 months. Now, you can forget all the conspiracy theories of whether COVID was a bioweapon, whether the Russia-Ukraine war was a conspiracy of the deep state to attack Europe, etc., etc. We don't want to go into that. We don't want to go into geopolitics. But what I wanted to share was, if you have deep knowledge, if you have skills to discern, you will get insight and foresight. And that is exactly what we want to offer through our M&S Global e-learning platform. We need the pharma industry to share the best practices of their knowledge, of their skills. But what is cutting edge? Cutting edge is that which provides insights and foresights for the world at large, for the consumers at large. And that is one of the benefits that we want to provide to the world at large. So I leave with this parting thought. Given that we have insights and foresights, we have data, how long do you think the trade war that America has started will last? If you have the data, you will get the insight, you will get the foresight. And that is the strategy with which education is developing these days. And we want to be at the forefront, pioneering this strategy and impart education to the world at large. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.